most iconic Wild West figures brought to life. So contrary to popular belief, the term gunslinger was never used in the Old West. Instead, it was shootist or pistooler. But despite that, with the modern embellishment through dime novels, at least 250 individuals were perceived as deserving of the title gunslinger throughout the Old West era. And the last person to carry the gunslinger title was Bat Masterson. We'll see some of them alive again in front of our eyes through AI. And at the end of this video, you will discover how Bat Masterson's life turned out unexpectedly. Then without further ado, let's begin. First, we've got Wyatt Earp. He was the most feared lawman in entire Arizona, and whenever his name was mentioned, it would make every bandit shiver. But why is that so? Well, just imagine Wyatt's name was always in the newspaper, putting outlaws in jail left and right. And during the legendary OK Corral gunfight, he sent his enemies down, all while being scotch-free. Talking about the most fearsome, then John Wesley Hardin just fits the category. The man was allegedly so vicious as he allegedly killed more than 40 men. But what made him more special was his efforts, despite being imprisoned, to pursue a better life as a lawyer. And soon, he got his freedom. However, it was cut short when Hardin was killed in a shootout in El Paso. A young man was arrested for stealing an overall. Since then, Butch Cassidy had held a deep grudge against law enforcement. Never did they know that the petty thief would grow into one of the most legendary robbers of the Old West, who staged the biggest train robberies in history. Meanwhile, on the side of the law, we got the legendary Doc Holliday. That despite having a dreadful disease, it never mattered as he still made sure that no one in those days would not know his name. A dentist turned into a saloon owner, then a professional gambler, and finally, as a fearless lawman. His life was muddled by tuberculosis, but Holliday lived it to the fullest. Well, undoubtedly a prominent Wild West icon, Johnny Ringo. He's one of the most celebrated, and perhaps every time the Wild West is mentioned, it would never be complete without Ringo. Next, James Miller, or Deacon Jim, was a notorious gun for hire and would kill anyone when the price was right. It was believed that he was allegedly behind the death of Pat Garrett and the Fountain father and son, who's related to Billy the Kid. Also, John Fisher was an outlaw who later turned into a notable lawman. His ambitious childhood aspirations led him to the outlaw life, and he even became a leader of a local gang. But soon, when he was offered a new lease on life, he took it and became a famous lawman. Then we've got an iconic figure who was the last person perceived as a gunslinger, Bat Masterson. He was also a U.S. Army scout, lawman, and professional gambler. It would be hard not to know him, just the fact that he was friends with Wyatt Earp and even President Theodore Roosevelt. However, did you know that despite all his remarkable occupations, Masterson had wanted to be something else? Yes, later in his life, he pursued journalism and enjoyed the remaining of his days as a well-established reporter and journalist. You've discovered the amazing photo collection of Wild West figures brought to life with AI. Now click this and discover the best Wild West sheriffs animated with AI.